Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. I'm so excited to welcome actress Rae Dawn Chong to our program today. She's going to be talking about her extraordinary career, but also a brand new movie that I think hits close to home for a lot of people, especially over the past couple of years. The movie is called We Are Gathered Here Today. We'll talk to Ms. Chong not only about the film, but also what it's been like for her to see the early response. And, of course, we'll let you guys know how to stay connected with her. Ms. Chong, thank you so much for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Yes, and I want to just send love and more love to all of you in Mississippi. My heart breaks, and I'm just struck by the bravery, and I hope that this whole thing just gets taken care of.
Well, look, thank you so much for that. It definitely has been a trying time for us here in the South, for sure, especially with everything going on with the flooding and now, of course, with the water situation. So we definitely appreciate that. But I want to thank you, Ms. Chong, for one, of course, taking out the time to be with our broadcast, but also just your extraordinary career and how you've been able to entertain, viewers through your work. What has this experience been like for you to do what you love as an actor, but also to share that with all of us?
Well, I just want you to know that I have very few skills, and one of the skills I do have is communication, so it has been an honor, an absolute honor, and I feel like one of the luckiest people, and I think that I was blessed at birth.
And I think, too, anyone who looks at your body of work, though, will say, it's so diverse in the roles you've been able to play. Is that part of what keeps it exciting for you?
Well, I didn't really have much choice in that because of being, I am a literal embodiment of diversity. I'm a mixed race person who came up during the time in the 70s when that wasn't even a thing. And then I just have had longevity. So, it was the hand that I was dealt. And sometimes I have failed, like swung and a miss. And then sometimes I have succeeded. So it's been a mixture of, well, the main thing I can say is it's never been boring.
Yeah, what a great thing. Well, I think people would definitely agree. As I mentioned, the new film is one that is so timely, Ms. Chong. It's one that, again, a lot of people can relate to. We are gathered here today. I'm curious, and when I was prepping for this segment, I had a chance to watch the film, thanks to our friends at October Coast. What is it that drew you to this project? I'm
going to be honest about it. It turns out very, very good friend of mine, and I was one of the last people put into the, and then I've known Danny Houston for decades, and then it was an opportunity to be reorganized with, I think, Margaret Avery, and then, of course, Ari Nicole Parker I had never worked with, but I've always admired her beauty, and so it was just one of those things where I couldn't say no. Plus, it was one of the first things I had done during the pandemic. It turned out that this period, the last 2 years, have been really busy. I worked the entire time. So I did first impeachment, and then I did this little part in this movie, and then I ended up going on to do Interview with the Vampire, playing a 4-episode arc, and then I've just been working sort of nonstop, and I did a film called Mistress, where I play the mother, and it's really good, and and then I just did a tiny little cameo in another little horror film where I play a nurse. So I've just been busy, so it's been one of those things where even though it was a shutdown and a lot of things were not working, all of a sudden creatively it kind of spawned a lot of work for me. So isn't that crazy? It's and this particular film, like I said, I'm really good friends with Eric Barrett from Mirror Productions TV, who produced it, and then sometimes it's a layup. You don't even look at the material. You don't even worry about the cast because good friends will call and ask a favor, and that's what this was.
Wow. Well, it is. It's very powerful. I think, again, very relatable. But I think I've heard people say this about you as well, Ms. Chong. I mean, just thinking about how you are as an individual. And I think for your audience and for your fans that have followed you, I noticed when I was prepping for this segment as well, I mean, you have gone out of your way at times to be able to be a part of those connections with your fans. But the world has definitely changed as We Are Gathered Here Today shows. Technology plays such a big part. What has that been like for you to kind of incorporate in your journey through the years?
Well, I'll tell you something. I sort of struggle with the disconnect that happens with the online. I'm on Twitter, which I enjoy a lot, and right. I'm on Facebook, and then I'm not afraid of technology, and I embrace it, but I also think that there's a cost, a human cost to the connecting. I've noticed with young people that the dynamic between young people and each other is really lacking, and I've noticed that people have no problem pulling out their device at a dinner table, and disconnecting. And so I get worried that we've become a zombie population, and then with the the unfettered, uncurated internet stuff that has created such a divide. I mean, I know that I feel like hopeful that we will have an America that we all recognize after the midterms. But for me as a woman and a person of a certain vintage, you can't sit this out. You have to be connected. And I think it's a humble brag when people say, "Oh, I don't watch the news." I think that is a disservice to all of humanity, because you shouldn't maybe watch the news 100% of the time, but you should definitely be paying attention at least 50% of the time. And so for all the women who are too traumatized to watch the news, and too traumatized, whether it's ancestral trauma, current trauma, or just, social trauma with all the murders and all the bad stuff that's going on, and particularly in Mississippi with the flooding and then the poverty. I mean, there's just so much bad stuff. I understand it, and you have to still stay connected. And I think that it's important to say that all of America is suffering from PTSD, not only from having 5 years of a really difficult POTUS, who we're now watching hopefully get justice done, but then also with the plague. So, we all need a collective hug. Like, if I could hug every single person in America, including people that I don't politically agree with, I would.
Yeah. Well, one thing about you I can always say, and I notice again this just in social media with you, Ms. Chong, is that you are a person who's for one thing passionate, but also I love the fact that you're able to speak what you believe unapologetically, and I think that is so powerful, and I think that's why so many people look up to you, not only because of your craft, but because of who you are as an individual. So I want to say thank you for being who you are, and thank you so much for this time. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure, and you take care. And I hope that this infrastructure issue in all of Mississippi gets taken care of. I have great faith in Peter Buttigieg. In our infrastructure czar. So Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Buttigieg, is an amazing human being, and I have high hopes for you guys down there in Mississippi to getting your legislature organized so that the people who are not taking care will get ousted, and the people who do care will be put in. And thank you.
Well, thank you. Again, the film is We Are Gathered Here Today. Make sure you guys are staying connected with Rae Dawn on social media, as you heard her say. You can find her especially on Twitter. She's very active on Twitter, so make sure you guys are following there as well as on Facebook. And it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime.
Thank you, and I send you big hug and love. Take care.
Thank you, so Dave. Same to you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.